From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. A Palestinian student leader at Columbia University was arrested by U.S. immigration officers on Monday, just before his scheduled citizenship interview in Vermont. Mohsen Mahdawi, a legal U.S. resident and former organizer of Campus Free Palestine protests, was taken into custody in the Citizenship and Immigration Service office in Colchester, New York. His lawyers have filed a habeas corpus petition claiming the arrest violates his constitutional rights and is politically motivated. The right-wing pro-Israel group Bitar has confirmed that they provided information to immigration authorities about Mahdawi and many more activists, according to The Forward, a Jewish-American media outlet. Mahdawi's legal team says the government is targeting him under a Cold War-era law used to deport immigrants seen as threats to U.S. foreign policy. The same law was recently invoked against Columbia University graduate and Palestinian student leader Mahmoud Khalil. Mahdawi fears deportation would be life-threatening, citing Israel's killing of his family members and destruction of their home in the occupied West Bank. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders has condemned Mahdawi's arrest, calling it immoral, inhumane, and illegal. Mahdawi is the 9th Columbia student now facing deportation in a Trump administration crackdown on pro-Palestine activists on campus. The move also follows executive orders targeting foreign students accused of hostile attitudes toward the U.S. Jewish activists and allies held a symbolic Passover Seder outside Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, headquarters in New York on Monday. They were demanding freedom for Mahmoud Khalil and an end to Israel's genocide in Gaza. Organized by Jewish Voice for Peace, the Liberation Seder brought together hundreds at Foley Square. Chants of Free Mahmoud, Free Palestine echoed through the square as participants declared liberation a mandate. Groups including If Not Now and Rabbis for Ceasefire joined in, connecting the Passover story of freedom to struggles against state violence and political repression. Protesters condemned the arrest of Khalil, calling it an attack on free speech. Organizers said, "We refuse to be used as a cover for political repression." In related news, Free Palestine protesters rallied outside the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office in Washington, D.C., calling for the immediate release of Mahmoud Khalil. Demonstrators waved Palestinian flags and chanted slogans including "Mahmoud Khalil must be free" and "Gaza, you are not alone." Many held signs reading "Release Mahmoud Khalil," "Trump hands off our students," and "End all U.S. aid to Israel." Khalil, a Columbia University graduate and a legal U.S. permanent resident, was arrested on March 8th. His visa and green card were revoked after an order by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. A Louisiana judge has approved Khalil's removal, despite admissions from the Trump administration that he is being targeted for speech relating to Free Palestine activism. The Trump administration also accused Khalil of involvement in activities aligned with Hamas, though no evidence has been publicly presented. Khalil's arrest is part of the Trump administration's wider crackdown on foreign nationals and students supporting Palestine. President Donald Trump on Monday demanded the immediate resignation of New York Attorney General Letitia James, calling her a totally corrupt politician. This is the latest in his attacks on James in the wake of a New York court's ruling in February, which found Trump, his sons, and Trump Organization executives guilty of inflating asset values to secure better financial deals. The court ordered Trump to pay a $454 million penalty. In March, he posted a $175 million bond while appealing the decision, denying all wrongdoing and claiming the case is politically motivated. James, who filed the civil fraud case in 2022, hailed the verdict as a win for justice. She said no one is above the law, regardless of their wealth or political status. James was elected in 2018 and re-elected in 2022. She is known for her focus on corporate accountability and civil rights. James has led high-profile investigations into organizations like the National Rifle Association and major tech companies. President Donald Trump is floating a controversial new idea, deporting violent American citizens to El Salvador. In a meeting with Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele at the White House on Monday, Trump said homegrown criminals could be next. In the exchange, which was caught on live stream, he urged Bukele to build more prisons. Trump has previously used El Salvador's notorious terrorism confinement center prison to detain and deport non-citizens accused of ties to gangs. The center is a high-security mega-prison in El Salvador, known for its harsh conditions and mass incarceration of alleged gang members. Legal experts quickly pushed back, saying deporting American citizens violates the U.S. Constitution. Critics also warned the move could lead to human rights abuses and legal chaos. Trump said Attorney General Pam Bondi is reviewing if violent U.S. citizens can be sent abroad. Bukele seemed open to the idea, saying, to liberate 350 million people, you have to imprison some. The White House later clarified that Trump only floated the idea for now. In related news, Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele has rejected calls to return a Maryland man wrongfully deported by the Trump administration. Speaking alongside President Donald Trump at the White House, Bukele dismissed the idea as preposterous. He insisted he had no power to send the man back. The man in question, 29-year-old Kilmar Abreu Garcia, was deported on March 15th, despite a U.S. court order barring his removal. He is being held in one of El Salvador's most notorious prisons. Bukele made it clear he would not release Garcia. The U.S. Supreme Court has ordered the Trump administration to facilitate Garcia's return, but the Department of Justice defied the order, arguing the courts cannot dictate foreign policy. Senator slams Rubio over detention of Turkish student. Details after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Senator Chris Van Hollen has strongly criticized Secretary of State Marco Rubio over the detention of Turkish student Rümeysa Öztürk. He called Rubio's accusations a big lie. Speaking in a video posted online, Van Hollen said Rubio is targeting foreign students for exercising free speech. He accused Rubio of becoming the guy who disappears foreign students in the United States. Öztürk, a doctoral student at Tufts University, was detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents outside her Massachusetts apartment on March 25th. Her arrest followed harassment from the pro-Israel website Canary Mission after she co-authored an op-ed condemning Israel's genocide in Gaza. A Washington Post report revealed the State Department found no evidence of anti-Semitism or links to terrorism in Öztürk's case. An internal memo cited by the paper concluded there was no basis for Rubio's claims. Van Hollen urged Rubio to stop targeting vulnerable students and instead face the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. A federal judge in Vermont is now considering whether to release Öztürk pending a hearing in May. The case has sparked outrage over free speech rights and political targeting in the U.S. education system. The Education Department has frozen nearly $2.3 billion in funding to Harvard University. It is one of the largest funding freezes ever imposed on a single U.S. university. The move follows Harvard's refusal to comply with demands from the Trump administration. A joint task force to combat anti-Semitism announced it had halted $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts. The action comes as the White House pushes elite universities to crack down on student protests and scrap diversity programs. Harvard President Alan Garber said the university would not bow to government pressure. In a letter, he criticized the administration's proposals as direct interference in academic freedom. He said demands like auditing the beliefs of students and staff and weakening certain ideological positions cross constitutional boundaries. Garber said Harvard will not accept the proposed agreement and will not negotiate over its independence. In response, the task force accused Harvard of having an entitlement mindset and failing to protect Jewish students. It warned that federal funds come with the obligation to uphold civil rights. The standoff highlights growing tensions between the Trump administration and top universities, especially over pro-Palestine activism and campus diversity. The city of Hilliard in Ohio is facing a federal lawsuit for rejecting a building plan by the Noor Islamic Cultural Center. Lawyers for the center filed a suit on Monday accusing the city of religious discrimination. The center owns a vacant office building and planned to turn it into a multi-use facility for prayer, weddings, and community events. City officials denied the proposal last November. Attorney Joe Miller called it the most blatant example of discrimination in his 25-year career. The 128-page lawsuit names the city, its council, and the city manager. It alleges violations of federal law, religious freedom, and property rights. Council member Les Carrier, who supported the plan, said it's sad to see the building still unused. The city insists the land is zoned for office use and says it tried to accommodate the center's plans. But Miller said the city refused real negotiations and blocked a plan that met zoning requirements. City officials declined to comment due to pending litigation. Internal Revenue Service, or IRS Chief Information Officer Rajiv Uppal, will leave the agency on April 28th, just after the tax filing deadline. His resignation comes amid continued staff and leadership changes at the federal agency. Uppal, who joined the IRS in early 2024, announced his departure in an internal email. He expressed pride in helping modernize operations over 2 tax seasons. His exit follows his resignation of Acting Commissioner Melanie Krause, who stepped down after a deal to share migrants' tax data with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The agency has come under intense pressure from President Donald Trump and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, which is pushing for deep staff cuts. In February, the IRS terminated more than 6,700 employees, many of whom worked in collections and compliance. Khurshid Pandya, the IRS's current Chief Technology Officer, will be his interim replacement. Hundreds of illegal Israeli settlers stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque complex in occupied East Jerusalem on Monday, marking the second day of the Jewish Passover holiday. According to the Islamic Endowments Department, 765 settlers entered in groups through the Al-Mugharba gate under Israeli police protection. Nearly 500 settlers did the same on Sunday. The Palestinian Ministry of Awqaf said the mosque was raided 21 times during Ramadan. In the first quarter of 2025, more than 13,000 settlers entered the site. Since 2003, Israel has allowed Israeli settlers access to the compound daily except Fridays and Saturdays. Al-Aqsa is Islam's third holiest site, while Jews refer to the area as the Temple Mount. Israel occupied East Jerusalem in 1967 and annexed it in 1980, an illegal move not recognized internationally. Professor Khurshid Ahmad, a leading Islamic scholar and economist, has died in Leicester, UK, at the age of 93. Born in Delhi, India in 1932, Ahmed migrated to Pakistan after 1947. He earned master's degrees in economics and Islamic studies from the University of Karachi and later received an honorary doctorate from the University of Leicester. A close associate of scholar Maulana Abul Ala Maududi, Ahmad rose through the ranks of Jamaat-e-Islami and was a pioneer of Islamic economics. He played a vital role in shaping Pakistan's Islamic identity and served as a federal minister and deputy chairman of the Planning Commission. Ahmad wrote more than 70 books in English and Urdu and founded key institutions such as the Institute of Policy Studies in Islamabad and the Islamic Foundation in Leicester. He was awarded Pakistan's highest civil honor, the Nishan-e-Imtiaz, and the King Faisal International Prize for Service to Islam. World leaders, including Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, paid tribute, calling him a monumental figure and architect of modern Islamic thought. Ahmad advocated for Muslim unity, principled politics, and critical engagement with modernity. He believed Islamic economics must be part of a broader civilizational revival, not limited to banking reforms. Funeral prayers were held in Leicester with memorials planned in Islamabad, London, and Kuala Lumpur. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. Please donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.